Hello, dear students. I am Dr. P. Vasantakala, Assistant Professor of English from Government Duty College, Utai. I am going to deliver a lecture through PPT for MA 4th semester students, Paper 2, Indian Writing in English, A.K. Ramanujan's poem, Obituary. This lecture of mine has been divided into three parts. The first, stanza-wise poem with summary. Second, poetic analysis of the poem, obituary, and relevant questions. Before we proceed to poem and its summary, let's know briefly about the poem and its title. The poem Obituary by A.K. Ramanujan has ironical sketches in it. What do we mean by obituary? Let's first understand. It means that notice about the death of a person in newspaper with a piece of writing about him or her. In Hindi, we call it as Shok Sandesh. This poem describes aftermath of narrator's father's death. The poem is written in first person. Here, narrator is poet himself. The poem has 8 stanzas in it. Through this poem, the poet expresses his views about how he had to shoulder the responsibilities of his family after his father's death and how his father's life was meaningless and without any achievements. He left useless things for him, whether physical or emotional. It is quite ironical. Now, let's proceed with stanza-wise poem as well as summary. Left, I have written stanzas, and right, I have explained its meaning in the form of summary. Father, when he passed on, left dust on a table of papers, left debts and daughters, a bedwetting grandson, named by the toss of a coin after him. In this stanza, the narrator narrates about his father's death. He is a bit disappointed with him and says he simply left dust and a few papers on the table, loans to repay, sisters to get married, and grandson who is bedwetted and is named partially after his name, which is a bit similar because of toss of coins. This stanza focuses light on the typical Hindu family tradition where male is bread earner, neither the mother nor the sister earns, so all duties are bestowed upon him. Stanza 2. A house that leaned slowly through our growing years on a bent coconut tree in yard, being the burning type, he burned properly at the cremation. In this stanza, the narrator hints at his dilapidated house, which slowly on his growing years leans against the coconut tree in the yard. It means he has inherited a house which is in very bad shape. The poet calls his father a very short-tempered man. He never behaved properly with any of his family members. So, when he died, he was burnt properly. The poet somewhere is showing his anger for his father. Stanza 3. As before, easily, and at both ends, left his eye coins in the ashes that didn't look one different. Several spinal discs, rough, some burned to coal for sons. In this stanza, the narrator speaks about his father's cremation. As per the tradition, on the eyes of the dead body, coins are kept. Here, in poet's view, this signifies his father's anger and greed for money. So, when the body is burnt, it turned into ashes, small burning coals, and some pieces of spinal disc, which has to be merged in the river later on by the sons only. But this coin does not get burnt and it looks like the same as it was before cremation. Stanza 4. To pick gingerly and throw as the priest sat facing east, where three rivers met near the railway station, no long standing headstone with his full name and dates. This fourth stanza is in continuation of the previous one. The narrator and his brother are asked by the priest to stand facing the east, where three rivers culminate near railway station, and merge the bit of bones and ashes. It has been decided with the narrator that there will not be any grave carved with his birth and death date of his father because he will be cremated and ashes and bones will be thrown in the water. Moreover, he feels that he doesn't deserve to be remembered for a long period. Stanza 5. To hold in the parenthesis everything he didn't quite manage to do himself, like his Caesarean birth in a Brahmin ghetto and his death by heart failure in the fruit market. This stanza is also in continuation of the fourth one. The narrator feels since his father was an ordinary man, he did many things imperfectly and incorrectly. He could not manage his affairs properly. He was born in an Orthodox Iyengar family, which was supposed to be the highest caste amongst Brahmins. Though he was highly educated, he died in the busy market, that too with heart failure. Despite being born in upper caste, he could not maintain his stature. Stanza 6. But someone told me he got two lines in an inside column of a Madras newspaper sold by the kilo exactly 4 weeks later to street hawkers. Sixth stanza takes us into altogether different zone. This relates to the title of the poem. The narrator is trying to show his respect and concern for his father, and this concern clearly reflects in these lines. He was told by someone that an obituary of two lines in respect of his father were written in an inside column of Madras newspaper, which is now known as Chennai. Later on, it was sold as junk in kilos. After 4 weeks of his cremation, it was in the hands of street hawkers. Stanza 7. Who sell it in turn to small groceries where I buy salt, coriander, and jaggery in newspaper cones that I usually read. Seventh stanza is in continuation of the sixth one. Here, narrator expresses that street hawkers sell the newspapers to grocery shopkeepers from where he buys sugar, jaggery, and coriander placed in one of the newspaper in the shape of cone, and the poet, out of enthusiasm, reads those newspapers for fun. Stanza 8, which is the last stanza of this poem. For fun and lately in the hope of finding these obituary lines, and he left us a changed mother and more than one annual ritual. In the last stanza, the narrator describes that initially he read those newspapers just for fun, but later on he secretly started searching for obituary lines. These two lines will be the memory of his father's presence. Further, the narrator tells that father left his mother with sorrowful face and annual rituals which he was very particular to follow. The poet's dislikes in the tradition and rituals is clearly reflected in last few lines, and he doesn't like to celebrate in the memory of his father for the peace of his soul. So here we conclude the stanza-wise poem and its summary. Now let's come to the another important part of this poem, and it is poetic analysis of the poem. The poem is of 8 stanzas and every stanza is of 7 lines. A.K. Ramanujan has used rhyme and rhythm in the text. There are few examples of rhyme in the first stanza with the words like paper and daughters, and on and grandson. Though they do not rhyme perfectly, but partial similarity is seen. This is called half rhyme. In a similar way, last three lines of the fourth stanza are connected. The last E sound is repeated in gingerly, priestly, and east. Ramanujan has made best use of alliteration technique too. The best example in the first stanza is daughters and daughters. These two words are quite humorous because they begin with the letter T. When the reader goes through the lines of the first stanza, he feels himself associated with the common words used by the poet and connects himself with the gist. In a very simple manner, the poet has brought before us his feelings, dislikes for his father through the narrator and the burden he has to take up of his family. We find irony in his words and mood too. In the second stanza, he highlights on burning of his father, which can be interpreted in two ways. Firstly, it could be associated with farming, and secondly, with his father's bad temperament. While expressing himself, he doesn't want to feel heavy, so in a lighter mood, he celebrates his father's life. In the third stanza, the most important phrase used by the poet is I coins, which reflects individual rituals at the time of death. The narrator also brings to our knowledge that funeral rites are performed only by sons. The fourth stanza is again clear reflection of our traditions and rituals where ashes and remains are merged in the Sangam facing the east. The narrator is quite adamant to accept these traditions because he feels that his father is not capable enough to deserve the honor of carving his grave with birth and death date. The justification of the title, obituary, reflects in the sixth stanza. The narrator's hidden feelings are clearly felt in the lines where he is informed about the obituary of his father in two lines. Father has left behind him these two lines only. In the last stanza, the poet is pathetic about the change of mother's sorrowful mood and the responsibilities he has to shell down towards his family. Despite the displeasure with his father, he is still in search of the paper where he can find obituary lines to read but can't find anywhere. Finally, to sum up, this poem connects with us physically and emotionally and brings us very close to the narrator. Now, let's come to the last segment of my lecture, and that is relevant questions. Discuss the ironical sketches and humor elements in the poem Obituary by A.K. Ramanujan. Discuss Obituary as a reflective poem. Comment on the blurred culture in the poem Obituary by A.K. Ramanujan. Fourth, make poetic analysis of the poem Obituary by A.K. Ramanujan. And last and fifth question, critical appreciation of the poem Obituary by A.K. Ramanujan. So this was all about from my lecture. Hope you have understood well, and these questions which I've given you at the end will help you to prepare your notes for the examination. Thank you.